All right, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Honest Tattooer podcast, where we strip down the raw, unfiltered truths of the tattoo industry, and we want to help you, the artist, thrive in your craft and your business. And this week, we have some guests. What's up, guys?
What up? What up?
And as always, we have Matt Truiano in the building.
How you guys doing?
What up? What up?
And G Money.
What's good?
And for the people that don't know you guys, why don't you go introduce yourselves?
What up, y'all? It's Jozzy Camacho at Jozzy Camacho on all platforms.
And I am Jess Valentine at Jess Valentine Tattoos on all platforms as well.
Yes.
So tell people, I always like to, remind people where you're from, how long you've been tattooing, and what kind of tattoos you like to do.
Okay. From New York, upstate Poughkeepsie. I've been in New York City now about 6-7 years. And I specialize mostly black and gray realism, calligraphy, lettering, kind of my own thing.
Dope. You just?
All right. So I am originally from Long Island, but I have been in Brooklyn since I was like 18. My shop's in Brooklyn, technically Ridgewood, but whatever. And I like to do cute, like kind of like neo-trad-ish, but girly, cutesy kind of. I call it bubblegum traditional.
Bubblegum trad.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. It's pretty dope. I like it.
All right. So how you guys been?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So if you guys have been keeping up with Ink Master, you would know that they are in Ink Masters.
Yes. Yes. With the co-host, John. Collectively. It was a collective thing.
Yeah, we've all been in it. But this week, we usually like to start off with something to kind of just to get the conversation going. Let's talk about tattoos, and let's talk about, what did you work on this week?
This week, I've been working on a lot of finishing of projects, which I kind of enjoy. Like it's kind of cool to tattoo something a month, 2 months ago and then jump back into it.
Yeah.
But it kind of changes your perspective, especially after obviously doing Ink Master. Like it changes your perspective about how you view the things that you planned to do prior. Yeah. So I've been working on a lot of finishing of like leg sleeves, arm sleeves, stuff like that.
Cool.
Do you feel like
Nice.
you approach your tattoos different now that you've been on the show?
I feel like I'm way more critical of how I would approach them now versus how I would have before. I feel like the way that I view tattoos in general is so much more critical.
Do you do every tattoo expecting Nico to judge it now?
Oh, Nico. No, but I do approach every tattoo with the idea of that many eyes tear me apart. Yeah. You know what I mean? And being critical of every line, every shade.
Everybody should be doing that every day anyway.
Right? I mean, yes, but like it is very easy, tattooing for years to get very comfortable and to just not be like, well, I got this, I got that. I know what I'm capable of doing. And then when somebody tears apart the things that you thought you were capable of doing, you're just like, maybe I'm not that good. So it's different now.
I think what happens is like when we tattoo now, we we post our work, your fans comment on it.
Yeah.
Everybody's just ego fluffing, baby. Everybody's telling you how great and awesome you are. The person you tattooed that day were like, you're fucking amazing. I'm so happy with this, You're getting all that just makes you feel good. And that's
100%.
tight, But once you go on the show and now you are, the people that are seeing your tattoos are your competitors and also these judges. And they're there to freaking just rip your shit apart.
You're under a magnet, like a whole magnifying glass is just on everything that you decided to do today. So
yeah, it's like super hard to hide your, like the judges would come over, mid tattoo and I'm like, don't fucking look at this shit. And like, what's the point of doing that? Because it's going to be on fucking TV.
It'll be on TV. One of my favorite things about watching the show now is getting to see what they would say when they would walk away. And you see them like huddled up talking, and we didn't even get to see the whole thing. We get to see only seconds of what they were talking about. Yeah. But they were, they would just have little powwows where they would walk around the whole thing, get together, be like, what'd you think about that? You think that motherfucker's going to finish that tattoo over there? Like, what about this person? Oh, that thing looked jacked. It's kind of crazy to see it and see those little side talk.
it is. It really is.
And their facial expressions that like,
like
Ryan really behind you.
Oh no, what are you doing? I'm like, oh fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, wow. I think it just makes you, I said this to Gabe actually earlier. I was just like, I feel like it kind of took out my natural ability to find beauty in things a little bit. Like even things that naturally look beautiful, like my eye is just looking for the flaw. And I kind of hate it because it takes away that, like, when you look at something, you're just like, damn, it looks really dope. But I'm just like, nope.
Man, take a year class of graphic design and you'll do the same thing.
It's kind of fucked though. It takes away like the sweet, soft part of art and how art makes you feel. Now it's just like I feel very like, not judgy, but I'm just like, I'm looking for the error. I'm looking for the flaw. You know
My first year of college, I did graphic design as a major, and I wound up not liking it. So I transferred out, changed my major. But that 1 year of doing graphic design, everything that I looked at, it was like, oh man, that's just like, that's not right.
That's not it.
That's not good.
Yeah. Are you like happy that happened to your eye? Or did you also feel like, damn, like it kind of takes the beauty out of things a little bit?
I don't know. It definitely makes me feel like being able to see other things in the outside world that aren't perfect makes me super critical of the things that I do and makes me want to be a little bit better.
Okay.
So I'm happy in that sense.
Okay.
And I also think it's kind of cool. Like it's kind of like a party trick, you know, like I bet I could pick some flaws out in this that you can't.
Right. That too.
Yeah, but that's like, we have to remind ourselves that show is like not real life. Like if any of those judges saw any of those tattoos outside of the show, they probably would have been like, that's badass.
Right.
You know?
That's badass.
That's
like
badass.
sick piece, you nailed it.
But that's just like, you know, TV, they have to pick it apart, even if it's like the dopest tattoo. Like even like what tattoo of the day, they're like picking it apart when it's like, you're really just like looking for something. You can't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
You really can't.
That's a tough one.
You can't. I will say that you can't do that to yourself, but you probably should. You probably should do that to yourself because other people shouldn't do it to you.
Yeah.
Because
You're
that
not gonna
sucks.
tell me what I did wrong.
Yeah. But I think you should do that to yourself, you know, like, because you're going to get enough compliments and enough, like, you know, telling you about how great and awesome everything that you're doing is from everybody else. So, like, at least for you, for your own work, if you want to grow, if you want to see especially after you're good, man, after you're good, like to get better is just looking for that, you know, looking for those tiny little things. I think Russ Abbott said this to me once, like I wanted to critique my portfolio and he was just like, everything looks cool. And then he just started pointing out little tiny things in my tattoos. And I was like, you could have just shaded that right there, like a little bit tighter onto that edge. So it's cleaner and sharper and everything is like a little bit.
Right.
Because it's like, what else are you going to say? Oh, like certain things that are like, oh, you can do a cool rose tattoo. Cool. But is it perfect? You know what I'm saying? Especially when like, I know certain tattooers that do simple tattoos and they're fucking perfect. You're like, did that motherfucker breathe, bro?
Right.
You know?
The whole time.
Kike.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
What the fuck? Perfect. You know, that homie, Midwest Phil, you look at tattoos, fucking perfect, bro.
Super
You know what
clean.
I'm saying?
Super clean.
Yeah.
There's a guy from Russia, maybe it's a girl, I don't know. Ada tattoo. Dude,
Ada. Yeah, that's a chick.
Ada.
It's a chick.
Yeah.
Man, those tattoos are flawless and they're so simple, but
Yeah.
perfect.
It is a chick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a chick. Yeah.
And then, like,
Incredible.
you know, let's say, for example, like Jenna, incredible tattooer, does things that when you see them as her normal work, fucking perfect.
Insane. And it feels so nice.
Flawless. It's great. But then in the context of a competition,
Time restraints.
stress.
Lack of sleep.
Yes. There's so many things that go into competing that is different. I guess for somebody that, you know, plays sports or anything like that, it's very different playing basketball with your friends, you know, when you're like in a competitive setting to do that, you know?
I feel like the show showed me too, like the people who worked from like street shops into being the best part of themselves versus the people who kind of just maybe apprenticed or just went right into themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You can see the people, the street shop tattooers that were in there. Like, it was just like, all right, you've worked in these time restraints. You've done $20 tattoos under 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you can see the way that people are adjusting to stenciling and time and pressure and stress. And like, I worked in a ton of street shops. So like, I was comfortable with the time in a weird way, but it was also like, I don't like it anymore because now I'm who I want to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like it, but like I can adjust to it if I need to.
It's like, even, you know, like you smoke cigarettes and you're probably used to being like, oh, I'm going to stencil this. I'm going to go have a cigarette, walk away from a little bit, you know, and then I'm come back to this. And there you're like, I can't.
Can't smoke a cigarette. That's my me time. You know?
That's your reset. You know, that little time that you need sometimes in between a tattoo and getting started, or you're like, all right, we're gonna stop away so I can walk away from the stencil, and then you come back and you're like,
fresh eyes.
yes, fresh eyes. You don't get that moment.
You can't because they won't allow you, or you shouldn't because of you want to take
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
When that 6 hours is really yours, and that is the only time out of the entire day that you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's like just in that 6 hours. You can smoke 12 times. I didn't even finish a cup of coffee the whole time I was there. Because you get your coffee and you get right on set. Like, you know, so like you, in that 6 hours, like you're literally grabbing on time.
Yeah.
Right. And it goes by faster than when you're in a studio tattooing in 6 hours. It's just like,
I mean, I wasn't there that long, but
but I mean,
like
you did enough to know.
It's like, how did 5 hours pass already? But I think just when you take yourself out of that, like your comfortable shop atmosphere, it just kind of makes me like personally, it makes me like a little bit slower because you're just kind of like not as familiar. But it's so stupid because it's like I set my shit up the same way, but it's still like, I don't know, mentally it's just like different. So yeah, I don't know. For me, it was the sleep deprivation. I'm a sleeper and eating the same foods all the time.
Oh yeah, all those little things. I mean, like I don't have a problem with that, but like the sleep, like that was hurting my soul. Like, you know,
Sleep was rough.
waking up early, that early.
16 hours
day.
of filming a day to
Yeah.
get home by midnight. By the time we break down and get home, it's midnight, and then you're up again at 4:30 to be in cast by 5:30 to. Especially the girls that do makeup. Thank fucking God I don't have to deal with that. But like to beat my face and blow my hair out in the morning would have killed me, bro. Like I would have died.
Because it's up to you. They're not gonna be like, hey, let's make you look great for TV. They're you're not that important.
There's one chick that's walking around with oil dabs just to take the oil off her forehead. That's it.
Honest Tattooer is brought to you by Ink Maps, the ultimate tattoo app for tattooers. Upload your image and instantly read dominant colors and get precise color matches for any tattoo ink brand. You can mix colors, see how they look on your client's skin tone, and even explore value isolation and stencil creation. Compare brands, dive into color properties, and achieve perfect color harmony every time. Import your palettes into Procreate and Photoshop, plus conveniently attach projects to clients for future reference. You can simplify your tattoo process with Ink Maps. Download now and revolutionize your artistry. Use coupon code HONESTTattooer for 50% off your first year subscription. So, what did you tattoo this week?
What did I tattoo? I tattooed yesterday. I did a pretty cool, it's like a Pisces girl head with like kind of flowy blue hair, like water, some goldfishes from one of my like pre-drawn designs.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's funny because like even seeing the girl head that I got to do on the show, and it was only a few months ago, whatever, I would draw it so much better now too. Like, it's like, oh fuck. Like not only like, sure, that tattoo is fine, but like and now I'd be like, that was awful for me, which is just crazy how much you grow so fast in such a short period of time. I definitely took every critique that the judges said and have really tried to like implement it.
Yeah.
But even like now, like I did a girl head yesterday and I like the design, but I feel like I have so many appointments set up of drawings that I've done a while ago that I'm probably going to go and like re-render. Cause I'm like, wow, now I want to do this, you know, a little better and tweak it. So yeah, I got to do that, which is super fun. And then I did like a rear view mirror with like some singers.
That came out dope. I actually seen it with the chain link around it.
Yeah.
I seen that today. That came out super dope.
Thanks. That was
Super
my
dope.
first time trying to do somewhat realistic.
It's like candy pop. It reminds me of California in the 80s. Like your artwork reminds me of like what LA would have been looked like in the rock world, you know? Like everything's poppy and sparkly and it looks super dope. I like it.
We'll see. That's what I'm into right now. So
Nice.
yeah.
Cool.
What you make?
I had a guy come in from Philly today and he got a skull. Actually, you know what? Gabe, go first because this is going to tell you something else.
Oh man, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. All right.
Because that's going to go on a tangent.
So, shoot, I have two tattoos, but I'm going to pick one. So it's the one that I did yesterday. And it's basically this 40-ounce bottle running with like athletic shoes on. And it's like running. He's got like a pizza slice tucked in his arm. Like he's running away with it. And it was for a really cool client that had just turned 40. And for his birthday, he ran his first marathon was the NYC marathon that just happened.
Nice.
Dope. So creative, huh?
So he got a bottle of like 40-ounce cartoon, like running away with a slice. It was a super fun tattoo to do. And we nailed it with it, and it was cool. It was fun to see it, and he was super stoked.
Man, my favorite part of the marathon is seeing all the flyers,
the signs. Every year is all about the signs, dude. But yo, straight up, Gabe, I'll give you that for that tattoo, bro. Because dude, that shit was sick.
So
it's like
dude.
One of those things where like the tattoo was like, when somebody tells you like an idea, you know what I'm saying? You're like, I have no idea how I would have like illustrated that tattoo. But like I saw the way that he did it and I was like, that looks so good. It looks symbolic. Fun. Yeah, symbolic. And it looks classic.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you made like something.
It had a retro feel to it.
It had a retro feel to it. It looked classic. So you have said you fucking crushed that.
On top of being like Gabe's cleanliest fucking.
Yeah, it was
always.
Like technically flawless,
like,
but overall it was like just such a fun to look at tattoo. You're like, if I saw that tattoo, I'd be like, what is that about? Dude? That looks sick.
If
like,
he wouldn't have told me the story, I seen the tattoo early on Instagram. If I wouldn't have known the story, I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is this? But it's really fun to look at. So like, you crushed that, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
You always crush
Thank
it,
you guys. I appreciate the
You would
kind words.
100%. I believe this with full faith. You would win Ink Master without time restraints. You are the adaptable.
Oh yeah, if there's no time restraints,
as far as style is concerned,
You can do so much.
that you would win Ink Master without time
I can
restraints.
switch it up.
100%.
You know, it's interesting. Like you were just saying how I had no idea. I would have no idea how to draw that. But when they're doing like the skull, like they're doing the skull pics and the canvases or telling, do you also like try to imagine real quick how each one would look if you got it? Or you just like wait until
I mean, that happens.
actually
Yes,
can't
I
wait?
do. I mean, but like, it's almost like a natural thing to think of like, oh, okay, that's that. But like, I just want to hear everything.
Yeah.
And I don't want to worry about anything that I don't have to do. You know, I don't want to waste any thought on something that I'm like, that's not going to be mine.
When you're hearing all the ideas that everybody wants and you go down the list, by the time you get to the last one, do you honestly remember what the first guy said?
In the very
No.
All right. Yeah.
No, probably.
So how do you know who to hand, like who to assign to everybody?
So that was hard, right?
Do
So
they remind you like, oh, this guy wants that, this guy wants that?
No, but you can ask again. You can ask more than one time. Like, what did you want again? You know, you can say that. That's fine. They're just not going to show you like, you know, taking forever to do that.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm going to say as far as like skull pics, like you want to know what you want to do and you want to know who you want to fuck over. You need to know those two things. And that's it. You keep that in the front of like, all right, who deserves the worst, hardest tattoo?
John wanted to fuck me over.
Oh man,
John's playing the game right.
Yeah.
Because I play the game, man. I play the game. I shoot to kill, bro. I shoot to kill.
Damn.
You know, like as savage as that sound, but that's like, you know, that's how you play this fucking game. You know, like I've watched.
John was like,
Yeah.
we's homies, but not here.
I'm in the back eating sandwiches like, for real, John?
I've watched amazing tattooers go down on Ink Master early.
100%.
You know, great ones because people there, they were like, that guy's really good, bro. What are we going to do? Let him hang around till he gets the fucking shit he likes and fucking crushes you?
Yep.
No, you're going to have to, you know, play the game hard way. Because at the end of the day, if the roles were switched, they would do the same goddamn thing.
I wouldn't have did you like that, John.
At some point you would have to. All right, John, what did you tattoo?
So this week I tattooed yesterday. I worked on a client from Pennsylvania. She came out and when she first came out, she just had a Hanya mask that was like just torn up, bro. Just torn up.
Just outline or it was colored and everything?
It was color, but it was like whoever did it, like they did this red on it, but it like all fell out. It was like, it looked like almost like it got lasered. It just didn't look good at all.
It's a good thing for you for a rework.
Yeah. And that's, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I can save this, you know, because it was like all faded out. It looked really bad. And then first session, she knew that she wanted to do like almost like a 3/4 sleeve with it. So I added like some cherry blossoms and she wanted to look really soft. So there was like just completely like negative cherry blossoms. And then this session I reworked now the Hanya mask.
Nice.
First I added onto it and then I reworked the old thing, which is, I'm going to say this for you tattooers, it's a way to get them to come back.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to do a really sick cover up, save that for the end, you know? Because if you just do the
wow
cover,
factor is at the end.
It's at the end.
John, you got to show a picture of that because the tattoo came out real sick.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. So like, you know, and then after that we reworked that Hanya mask and I added some more cherry blossoms at the top to connect the bottom to the top.
Nice.
And I'm really happy with it. You know, instead of doing all black and gray, because I was covering those red tones that were still kind of there, I used more opaque grays.
Nice.
To go over that. And it worked out really good where it's gonna, once it settles down, it heals and it gets softer. It'll separate it from the background stuff that's all like wash.
Okay.
To then having just the main element, like the mask.
It'll heal with the nice blues. It almost looks like blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't do it red. You did it.
Yes. I went over the reds with opaque grays.
So if you had like your choice, if you could spend the rest of your career doing just Japanese, would that be the choice?
Yeah, 100%.
You would X out everything else.
I would
do
and
Japanese?
just do Japanese. There's enough really cool elements in Japanese subject matter that I could tattoo all the things I really like
I would do the
Fair
same
enough.
thing.
in the way that I like to
Really?
tattoo.
I would go full Japanese as well.
Would you really?
Only. Yep.
Damn, and I think you're like one of the best traditional artists that I
I
feel
know,
like.
but you know what the thing about
Yeah, that
Japanese,
surprised me too.
the thing about Japanese is that it's really the challenge of the composition and subject matter.
It's the challenge of law. Japanese has so much law.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Rules.
things. There's a lot of things to it that give it the aesthetic that it has. But you know, when you know the rules, obviously, like anything, you bend them and you create your own style. But I mean, it requires so much technical ability with blending, shading. Like there's a lot of know-how to it to get the effects you're looking for.
Right.
So I think it's that challenge that really draws me in. And I'm really starting to kind of like feel comfortable that I'm starting to really like unlock something.
Okay.
You know, that's why. But like traditional has always been like one of my favorites because I love the just bare outline and solid saturation that actually requires some skill to make it look ultra clean. You know?
I learned that on Ink Master actually with Brian.
Oh yeah.
I was like, damn, like, fuck, like I love Brian. And I was like, but you know how? And then I looked at his work and I'm just like, this is real technical, bro.
Yes.
This shit is so flawless. It might not be what I like as far as subject matter or style or even design, like, but it's like, this is solid. This is going to heal. It's going to look like this for 30 years. Like these fucking lines, you can't see where he started or where he stopped. You know what I
Straight
mean?
up.
And I'm just like, yo, this is, I can't.
And I think that's the magic thing there. Is like when you see a tattoo and you're like, that thing's going to look sick for
Forever.
10, 15, 20 years. That thing's going to look sick. You already know that there's like foundation solid as fuck.
For life,
And that
bro.
just makes it a stronger tattoo
Absolutely.
off the rip. So it's like, if you can then combine, and I think that's why it's amazing to focus some of your career. If you're an early tattooer, focus some of your career in doing traditional solid
100%.
tattoos, because that
100%.
gives you such bold strength and structure to your work that once you learn those rules and you learn to break those rules by implementing them into different styles, you will just carry on that cleanliness, that like solidness to like every kind of tattoo that you learn to do,
100%.
because it'll just be technically sound and technically made to last. And then once you start doing other styles and you apply those techniques, then your work just looks so much better, stronger, and
It
has more
does.
power.
And it's the only style that's outlasted as far as styles and longevity of tattooing. There's all these styles now, and traditional still is there. It's there.
Yeah.
Still, people
It's
still
still
do
there.
traditional. People still are
Absolutely.
getting apprentices right now learning how to do traditional. It's like it's gonna hold its weight forever. Like, and it, like John said, it is the fundamentals of tattooing all around.
Crazy. It's crazy how it's old and it doesn't get old.
It doesn't get old. I still see a good tratty tat. I'm just like, damn, bro, who did
when
that?
you see a good one, even if it's not something you would wear or you're not into it, you look at it and you're like, that looks so dope on this person. Or
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
like
for sure.
100%.
Yeah, once someone said that they like to do traditional, they were like a new tattooer because it was easy. It's like traditional is not really easy. Like it's hard, but it's supposed to like look simple. But if it's like so solid, it's just fun. It was like mind-boggling to hear that. I'm like, oh, okay. So people just think that trad is easy because it's just like
Right, because they see a simple design. They see a simple design. and
Anybody
they're
can do that.
like,
It's not easy.
oh, it's tough.
It's hard for me to think flat. 2D is fucking, it's complex for me to be just like 2D. Like, no.
Traditional tattoos, like surprisingly enough, they also will expose a lot of your technical errors.
100%,
A lot of them. I mean, like just your consistency, hand speed, depth of needle, just by how you're leaving the line behind as you line it. you know, for that one pass traditional liner.
Right.
And then the shading, what inks you're using. I mean, it requires a little bit of knowledge too, as far as like, you know, a lot of traditional artists are using like, there's some that are using like powder pigments, pre-dispersed. So there's levels of technicality.
And they look different.
And
they look different.
They do.
This
They
guy,
heal different.
They heal different. They look different.
But for the most part, like really good traditional artists, even ones that I've like looked up to and I've seen them tattoo, like they will always take their time packing stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're not moving as fast as we like think of it. And that's kind of like why in like my process and a lot of my tattoos, I've sped up because my technical ability has gotten faster. And I've gotten
you're more effective.
Way more comfortable.
More comfortable. But I've also slowed down a bit as where I'm like, I'm going to pack this in like as perfect as I can. No holidays. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to be really like, and pay attention to what I've been told, or be like, slow down if you have to, you know, like just don't worry about it. You know, I kind of like adapted that mentality, but
I haven't heard the word
Not
holidays in so long.
not great for me.
It's been a while since
Holidays.
You know,
I
listen to the
understand
Honest
that
Tattoo
kind of like,
podcast.
I know, yeah, for real. That's your work is patchy.
Yeah.
Holidays.
and as you can tell, that kind of like mindset wouldn't work too well with Ink Master competition, where I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to take my time packing this. I'd be like,
You ain't got time for
yeah,
that.
right. Yeah,
Is he using
exactly.
Starbright?
Yeah. I got to pack this in fast. Give me the Starbrights.
Yo.
So one thing I wanted to bring up today.
Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, you had something that had
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk
related
about
to
your
your
piece from
tattoo.
Philly.
Yeah, we didn't talk about your piece.
Right.
So my guy also came in from, you said Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He got a skull tattoo and he asked for like a skull kind of decaying, but some flowers and leaves growing out of it, which is something I've done before. He actually showed me a piece that I did. He's like, I kind of want it to look like this. Cool.
That's the best.
Yeah,
Isn't
right?
it?
Yeah.
Say less.
So even though he showed me something that I know how to do and I did it already, I still go to Pinterest and like, oh, let's see what other people have done. And sure enough, another one of my skull tattoos that I typed into Pinterest, like, oh, give me a skull neotrad tattoo. One of mine shows up. And anytime that I see one of my tattoos that show up on Pinterest, I click on it to see where it's coming from. Usually it comes from my website. Sometimes it's just somebody who posts it to their board and it's not really linked to anything. But the one that I found today, it was linked to 100tattoos.com. And it was like the 10 best Reaper tattoos for men. So I was going through the list and looking at all the tattoos that people were doing. There was not one person credited on this.
Wow.
And the descriptions on each one was, you should get this tattoo for this reason. And the header was like, if you're looking for a skull design, these are the ones that you should pick.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That happens to you often though, huh? People are fucking constantly either doing your exact tattoo or taking your designs. That's like, I feel like it's been pretty often in the last
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
couple years I've known you. It happens. It's often.
I got to ask you, has it turned into flattery yet?
No.
Exactly.
No.
It never does.
No, it never does.
Are you
Feels
offended by it?
I'm not offended by it, but I'm just kind of like, what the hell, man? Like,
It's inspiration.
it's one thing. I wouldn't be so upset if it were just like, hey, look at all these cool designs, but for them to be like, you should get this for this reason.
Right.
I'm not credit any of the artists.
Exactly.
Weird.
That's crazy.
This is like adjacent, but once I like was working at a street shop and I'm a Harry Potter nerd, and this guy had like the dark mark tattoo on his shoulder and was like, hey dude, I like your dark mark. He was like getting some other tattoos, like looked at me like I had 3 heads, and I'm like, your dark mark tattoo. He's like, I don't. I'm like, you're the Harry Potter tattoo? And he's like, I don't. I'm like, that tattoo on your shoulder. He's like, oh, I just Googled tough tattoos for men. And I'm like, yeah, tough tattoos for men. And he got
Who
the
did
dark-
you like that? Why they do you like that?
Yeah, well, that's what you get.
That's
Basically have a knot.
real.
That's whack.
That is so whack.
That is so what a letdown. Like, and you were excited too. Where it's like, yeah, we might, you know what I mean? Like it's cool to
We're
be
about to have Harry Potter
you
conversations.
know,
today.
exactly. It's like,
Real.
you know, it's clubby shit, you know? It's like
Just tough man.
It's kind of wild though.
yeah.
But the tattoo I wound up doing was pretty cool.
Do you feel like you're at a place in your career where people just come to you for what you do? Do you still get random weird requests?
Not really, not anymore.
Okay.
Once in a while, I'll get something that doesn't really align with my portfolio. But if I look at the person who's asking for that tattoo, they're not already following me yet. So
Okay.
yeah, it's like they don't. Yeah, but 9 times out of 10, no, somebody who's already following me.
Do you have a preferred subject matter that you would do always if you could? Would it be
Subject
skulls?
matter?
Would it
No.
be flowers? Would it be
No.
Ladies, do you just you're cool with whatever?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
As long as I can do it in my style, I don't really care what it is.
Okay.
But honestly, man, like we talk about imposter syndrome a lot, but man, I feel that every fucking time that I design something, because I'm pulling reference from so many different artists. Like, oh man, I like this one. I like that one. I like this one. And I feel like at the end of my tattoo, when I'm done with it, it could have just been done by one of these other guys. Like, I don't feel like I did it. I feel like a combination of all these other people did
You
it.
didn't copy, but you were inspired.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you feel like there's something special about your work that sets you apart from the people that you are inspired by?
I don't think so. I think it looks like every other Neotrad tattoo.
You know, it's funny, like tattooers go about this kind of shit a lot, but like when you look at the classics, people from the Renaissance period,
Yeah.
these guys all copied each other.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, that's why the styles all look similar.
Yes, they copied colors, they copied compositions. You know, they're like, oh, yo, like, you know, this guy copied a really good Madonna child. Oh, that's a fucking great concept, bro. Let's all fucking paint that same shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they would do it. And like, when you go to like those great museums, like the Louvre or Museo del Prado, and like, you start seeing like, oh, there's like so many versions of the same fucking thing, you know?
Yeah, it's like similar imagery.
Yes, similar imagery, you know, and you get one tattooer that somebody does something like, and they're like, oh, they totally fucking copy me. Bro, get the fuck off your shit, bro.
Right.
Get out of here, bro. Like, you know, like we're at the end of the day, like if you look at really classic tattoos, like all of the stuff that like Sailor Jerry did and stuff like that became like mainstream, like classic tattooing, is just perfect, great compositions that are just very effective, and you can redo them with modern subject matter. You know, like look at a really good like Sailor Jerry girl head with snake, do that with a modern looking, you know, like profile and snake, and you got the same fucking composition just done in your way, dude.
100%.
And it looks fucking rad.
100%.
And it's tight.
Yeah.
And that's fucking cool. So if you just started tattooing 5 years ago, like, you know, just get over it. Just fucking draw cool shit, man. Like, you know, like just get over it. Just do it. Just if you see something cool, just redo it in your way, you know? Maybe the first time you do it, it looks a lot like the first thing you saw, but do it multiple times off of your own drawing. And I think that comes down to something that you said of like, yo, that dragon head looks like this dragon head that you did before. I'm like, yeah, I copied my own drawing and I redid it.
Because I wanted to do better than I did the first time.
Exactly.
100%.
You know, copy your own work, copy from yourself,
You know,
improve upon it, you know?
A great technique too is when you're looking at reference, and I'm guilty of this, and I try to remind myself to take this step. When you're looking at reference and you're like, oh man, I really like this piece. I really like that piece. Don't like save it and then put it next to your drawing and then look at it while you're drawing. Like kind of look at it, study it, and get rid of it.
Yeah.
And rely on your memory of what that was, because your memory is not going to remember exactly what it looked like. You're going to have your own interpretation of it, and that then becomes your style.
For sure.
Right. Right. Yeah. I feel like when I look at work that I'm inspired by, it's more so like I want to copy the technique of it. And not really the design so much, but more so like I want to get my shading that smooth.
Yeah, I want to get that effect.
I want to get my contrast to be that dark. Like I want my work to just heal like that and look like that. It's not really like design so much. It's more so of like the technical part of it. It's just like, how do I get that fucking smooth black and gray?
Yeah.
See, I'm the total opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always looking at design. I'm looking at composition. Like that's where I'm getting this.
I hate a great design that's like poorly tattooed though. It's just like, damn, like he's a really good artist, but the tattoo quality of it isn't that good.
There's a lot of that out there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Some of my favorite artists overall aren't great tattooers. You know what I mean? But like some of my favorite tattooers can't draw for shit. So it's just like, it's kind of one of those like tug and pulls. But I definitely like aspire to look at the work when I see it in person and the longevity of like, because I do black and gray. So like I want to see that black and gray that's just like rich and exposed. And it's just like from a mile away, I'm just like, damn, like that's beautiful. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what I aspire to. Like, what kind of ink are you using? Or like, I still ask those stupid questions. Breaking it down with witch hazel or just water? Like, what is it?
I mean, too. Still,
you know what I mean? Like, what
are
curved
you
max
using?
or flat? Like,
What company is that?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, really, that's the ink you're using, huh? Guess I'm gonna put the color mix together for real.
Most of the times I'd be like, oh, interesting. You should do my method. No, I'm just kidding.
Man, that reminds me of like, you know, like I've worked with a few people. Gabe, I think you're one of those guys who bought a new tattoo machine like every like 2 to 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I just went through that.
It's like, new tattoo machine every 2 to 3 months. Like, I need a new one.
Yeah, but I'm like the pre-order guy. I'd be like, yo, what'd you order? I'll be like, I'm on like a waiting list. I'll get it like in a year or two, and then it'll finally get here, and then there's like a spurt of like just buying coil machines. Hard to get ones. I was collecting them at one point, but I think I've kind of like sold half my collection, and now I got like the ones that I would like rotate if I want to use them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but at one point it was like I was trying hard to acquire these things.
But I think it's like one of those things like when you like, you see somebody do something, you're asking them like, yo, what ink did you use? What machine did you use? What needles did you use? And then overall, you realize that it's like, it's whatever works for you, homie.
And like, where did you get your wrist
it
from?
Is whatever.
Where did you buy your fingertips at?
How'd you get that like,
Yeah.
how'd you get that wrist whip?
Right.
Like, oh, damn.
Where'd you get your wrist from?
I mean, I think you and I are perfect examples of it because you love lining with your pen machine.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking can't stand it.
And you hate it.
Yeah. Dude, just in this year alone, I bought the wand packer, tried to line with that, didn't work. Tried the wand liner, didn't like that. I tried the critical torque to line with. I love coloring with that, but lining with it sucks. Now I bought the new Cuban 46er, and now I line with that. So I went through 4 machines just this year trying to find a good lining machine.
Jeez.
Nothing will ever amount to a coil line though. I don't care. And I line with rotary, but I'll still tell you like nothing feels, looks, or stays like coil.
Yeah, like a coil or the Dan Cubans that function like coils.
But he builds them like coils, even though like they're motorized. Like he builds them, but he doesn't even. You can't even use cartridges with them, right?
He prefers not to. He's just like
he built them like coils.
Yeah, he's like if you can do without the cartridges and you can set up standard to line, he's like I highly recommend that.
Yeah, he builds them with like a Honda Civic engine. There's a piece of a Honda Civic in there. I'm like, yo,
man, yep.
Yeah, but no, that 46er, man, that rips. It's a good machine.
Yeah,
But I think that's, the whole thing of like, you need to try a bunch of things until you find which one works for you the best.
Just to go back on the what works for me may not work for you. It's like going back on like my machine collecting. I think there was somebody that was like, yo, dude, like I love your work. Your color saturation, like what's your packer? What's your shader look like? And I told him like, I was like, oh, I ordered it from this person. I waited about a year, I like them because they're this, that, and that, slow and punchy. And then he gets on this list. He finally gets that coil machine. They were expensive. He waited a long time. And I finally asked him, I was like, hey, man.
How you like that machine,
how'd you
bro?
like the machine? How was it? Like I look and he was like, oh man, I had to sell it. But dude, I fucking did this one piece on it and completely chewed the person up. And like, it's a scab there. And I was like, oh, sorry, man.
It's my hand. Not yours.
Yeah. So yeah, Exactly.
That was my experience the first time I used a rotary. Back in the day when the old school Neotat, the box.
Oh, the Neotats.
Had the bar moved on it
Oh my goodness, it was a slider.
Yeah.
Slider.
Yeah. Yeah. The first tattoo I did with that machine, I chewed up.
I did too.
Same.
Yeah.
It's like a rose. I was like, ooh.
Dude, that's crazy.
Mine was like a Keith Haring, like solid purple design.
Yeah, they
Not
were pretty
good.
rough.
Not good.
After a while though, I really liked that machine. It's just, it took a little to get used to.
You got to get used to it.
You couldn't feel it, and I feel like that's where I feel like my hand was trained, is that I can feel my needle. I can feel what I was doing. And when my first rotary, I was just like, I don't feel it, so I'm just digging. I'm digging. You know what I mean? I'm going crazy.
Go.
Back in the day,
If I can't feel it, she might not be able to feel it either.
yeah. Back in the day, everybody used to swear. Everybody was doing that was doing a lot of like color saturation in the work. A lot of people swore on those Neotats when rotaries were first like getting big.
They were good.
And the Neotats, yeah, they were solid. I kept hearing good things. I've never used one personally, but I know a lot of
They stayed
tattoos
around
that
for a
were-
while.
I
Absolutely
used
they
mine
did.
so much that the RCA jack didn't hold the RCA cord anymore.
It just slip out.
Slip out.
Yeah. They stayed around for a while.
It's true though. I feel like I always would want it like the best, like you said, like the Bishop, I'm like, oh, now I need to get the Bishop Packer. And then, so I'm like sponsored by like Amala, which is not really that well known. And they sent me a machine. Dude, I fucking love it. I know Coco's the same way. And I'm going to, use it. And like, are you fucking kidding me? This is like not even that. I think it's like $500 or $600, but it's like you can change the stroke, which is cool. Yeah. And then it's nice and fat already. So it's, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting that. I'm like, why do I have all these like fancy shits like on my shelf just collecting dust? Because it's like my new go-to, which is, it's weird. I knew a tattooer that he's like, he's like, this machine he tattooed me with, he's like $10 from like Amazon or some shit like that. Like maybe it was like Cam Supply back in the day. He's like, but it's just, I actually like it. Like, it's just weird how sometimes things work out.
It's what works for you. It's a tool at the end of the day. It's a tool.
It's a tool. It's what works for you. I mean, some people are doing it with a fucking stick, just poking you with it, dude.
Right. It works.
Yeah.
Man, I get a DM every other day from either Imala or Jay Conley.
Jay Conley, he's a dick. Also,
like, hey, do you want to try one of our cartridges? We want to sponsor you.
The needles are
every
fire,
other day.
though.
Are they?
The needles are fire, but they want like they have like this weird contract.
Yeah, that's why I read the first one.
It's a needle company. I mean, they're like a supply company in general. The needles are really fucking good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the liners are really good, but the contract is crazy. You have to like put them in your bio. You have to make like a video a month about using their shit.
That, dude.
Yeah, suck my dick. I'm not doing that. Like it's just not happening. I'm not doing that. Video content, like bro.
And what is that? You do all that for what? For free needles or discounted
just
needles?
Just free needles. Like but even still, like needles.
It's like we'll give you 10 boxes a year. Like
basically,
that doesn't work.
And I need to be in your bio, and you need to refer 10 people a month. Like I'm
not gonna bust my ass doing a video. I'm not a videographer. Like
that's insane to me. So like I've learned a lot about, creating content to creating fashion content. The amount of money that you can charge for your influence into other people in other things other than just tattooing, it's fucking wild. And the fact that there's like companies that want you to put them on their like on your bio or to make something like that where you're making like a video a month for like 10 boxes of needles, when you think about what that's worth to them, and that's what they're actually paying you, it's fucking wild to me. Don't fall for that shit, especially if you're like a fucking tattooer that's a great audience. That audience believes in you, man, and is worth a lot. Like your opinion and your experience with things is worth a lot. Yeah. And I feel like too many times in the tattoo industry, like tattooers have just been kind of like taken advantage of by companies.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up. And it's because we just don't know. We're just stoked and we're happy to do what we do. And we're like, oh, I like this product, so I'll just give them all this free advertising.
Right. I'm going to support you.
Yeah, I'm going to support you. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, no, it's a business.
Not worth it.
Especially when
it's a business.
You climb and your level climbs. It's like, it's not even just about the Instagram followers. Like I worked really hard to get to this point.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? You're just kind of climbing the ladder. And although my heart wants to like bring you with me, it's just like, nah, bro, like the way I see, like you just said, like I see people get paid just for like slight advertising. And it's just like
small,
crazy for handbags or like pencils. It's just like, what the fuck? It's true though, bro. People will pay. Like John can literally put it in his bio and make a video and convince me to buy this pen. And it's just like, he can get paid a ton of money for that.
Yeah. The influence is worth a lot.
Yes. There's companies that will pay you money to just put a post on your story. Just in a story. Just be like, I was here. Done. Give me $1,000.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like it can happen like that. And then there's like a company that's like, we'll give you $25 gift certificate for doing all of the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Everything in the store is $200 up. Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, you're helping sell.
Yeah. You're helping to sell, and with the people that follow you believe you. They'll like, so if you say that that's sick and this is awesome, they're going to believe you and they're going to like, oh yeah, I trust that person's opinion.
Rather utilize it with my own brand.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Getting tattooed by Rose Hardy last month, and
oh, nice.
Yeah, I love her. She's awesome.
Yeah, her artwork is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, but we were talking about sponsorships and stuff, and she is now sponsored by Tatsoul, and I'm like, oh, so what? It's like the best deal ever. She doesn't even have to like post about it or anything. It's just like they're a quality, product, and they know that just word of mouth is all that really it takes. Like she's like, yeah, I don't have to do anything, no hashtags, no nothing. And it was like really,
it's organic support.
Yeah, exactly.
They're super foot deep in the game though. Tatsoul's been around for fucking.
Yeah.
Eternal's very similar. I'm sponsored by Eternal, and they just sent me the new Gia Rose set. Right?
You have it?
Yeah. Ow. And so in the box that it came with, there was a little note like, thank you for, I don't even know what they said. Like, thank you for supporting the brand or whatever. And then it's like, we hope that you would post this and share it on your Instagram. Like, not even like do this because you're sponsored by us. Like, we hope that you.
We hope you do.
Yeah.
If you like it, please make a video about
I'm
it.
sponsored by Electrum. They're the same way. They'll literally send me 300 bottles of stencil stuff. And it's like, you don't really go through it that often, but they're like the most supportive people. Like, my dog died and they sent me flowers. I'm like, you know,
Oh, that's so nice.
Wow.
good people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They've never asked me to post anything. If I've done conventions where they would bring me on, they'd pay for my flight, my hotel, and the booth. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
so
like,
nice.
we want to grow together. You know what I mean? So it's pretty dope.
Speaking of sponsors,
Honest Tattooer is also brought to you by Tattoo Armor. Literally the best way to wrap your client at the end of the day. No mess, no adhesives, and they are super comfortable. You can try it for yourself by going to tattooarmorusa.com. They were able to hook us up with a 20% discount for our followers. Just use the code HonestTattooer on your next order.
Wait, so you were saying that apparently Inkmaster people, like anyone, can get any like Villain Arts tables booths for free?
That's what I was told from a previous contestant, that you can, that like by the time the show ends, within like a week or two after the show ends, that they'll start contacting us and we can get free booths.
I mean, I don't know, but at the end of the day, I don't really want to do any fucking conventions, man.
No?
I really don't.
I'm going to hop the circuit a bit.
Like it would, I mean, like it would be fun to go to places that are cool, but like,
John, I think people that want to see you are going to come here to see you.
even if they don't, I just rather just be here.
I know, but you know what I mean?
just rather
Like,
be here,
it's just
dude.
like, I know you'd rather be at the
I just
tattoo
rather
studio
be
working here.
Look, if you live in Minneapolis, I'm sure Minneapolis is cool, but if you come to New York, I bet you'll have way more fun than if I go to Minneapolis.
Exactly. Yep.
That's a fact.
I mean, I did the convention circuit for like 2 years. I was in a different city every weekend, and it didn't just physically drain me, but it emotionally drained me. And I mean, I wasn't at the place in my career that I'm at now, so like it was very like segregated between like the cool kids and the not cool kids, and it was super political, and it put a bad taste in my mouth after like 2 years of like hustling in that circuit, and it was just like I just completely stopped altogether. But I do feel like for people who do like to travel, or for people who kind of want to get more networked, it's dope. You know, it's great.
It's cool.
It's great exposure to meet sponsorships, to meet different artists, to take seminars if you want to learn. But like, it is tainted. I feel like that demographic of the tattoo world is so tainted, and it's so high school. It's so cool kid, not cool kid, and the cool, you know, the good artists and the famous artists get all the nice booths, and they get the corner sections where like, you know, the ones that aren't that cool who paid the same amount of money are in the corner tucked away by the bathroom door. They keep getting bumped with it. You know what I mean? Like,
or right next to the speaker. Of like,
I mean,
whatever.
now those corner sections cost more money. You have to pay more money to get those corner sections.
but I know, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it
Yeah,
used to be,
sure. I know.
it's super segregated, and it's super fucked up to like be a part of it and be on the low scale of it. So I feel like after being on TV, is that going to put me in a high scale? And if it does, do I want to be on that high scale?
Yes.
Right.
Do I
Yeah,
want,
you do, of course.
Do I want to be the cool kid? No,
Of
John.
course you
No,
do.
John. Not everybody's
Damn
like
right.
you though.
Damn right. 'Cause it's fun. But I'll tell you this. Like,
I'd be like, Jozzy, I can sit with whoever I want. Like, it doesn't have to be the cool table. It could be
Right.
the whatever table.
when
You're over there.
I worked my first convention, you know, like fucking forever ago, you know, like I came in being like a guy that worked at a street shop, you know, and I just went and I did my first convention. And the goals for me at that convention were very different than the goals for me at the conventions if I went to go do it now. Like at that moment in time, I went to do a convention to meet the artists that inspired me, the people that I looked up to meet the brands that I liked. Like at first you're going to meet like the person that's running that booth. That's going to come and build a relationship with that person before they go like, hey, like your work's looking really good. I'm going to talk to the person that sponsors people in this company to talk to you. Like it wasn't like I DM'd a company and was like, hey, you should sponsor me. You sound like an idiot. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
you were always the cool kid, John. I met you in a convention circuit probably 8-9 years ago. You were tattooing in the middle of the floor with your shirt off. The coolest guy in the room. Like, you know what I mean? You were always cool.
Man, I was cool in high school. To change for the date. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the way that it is. But I'm saying like, you know, but everybody's road is going to be different of what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's road is going to be different. But I think that like, if you're a young tattooer and one of your goals is to travel, go do tattoo conventions, go local, keep branching out little by little, keep meeting people, and you're going to get out there. That leads to something that I wanted to bring up. when it comes to succeeding in tattooing, too many people are struggling because they just want to skip the hard part of the fucking grind, of the work. Like they want to go, I want to go do a convention and be booked. You know what I'm saying? No. I'm like, that's probably not going to happen your first time around. You might go do a convention and lose money, bro.
Yeah.
Let's be frank.
Or break even.
Or if you're lucky. If you're lucky.
I don't think I've ever really made money at a convention.
Same here. I'm trying to remember a time where I made money.
I was coming out of pocket literally just to be a part of something.
Because of the expenses and everything that you do in travel.
I got more knowledge and experience from guest spots, if I'm being honest. Guest spots is where I learned my most. Conventions, I was paying to be a part of a cool party. You know, you get to
guest spots. Guest spots were more personal though.
Guest spots are more personal, but they're also more intimate, and it also teach you a lot about business, how different people run different businesses.
Absolutely. You can learn from other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, but it's like, it's a very different experience than the convention, but they both add value to your career
100%.
and to you as a business person. And as a tattooer or as an artist, you need to consider yourself as a business person. The faster that you can turn that shit on in your brain and forget that you're just not a fucking you're not just a tattooer. You are a business person. You yourself are the business. So facing the gritty, less glamorous side of the business is important. Knowing and taking ownership of it, you know, because it's your fucking career, man. Nobody's going to care about it more than you do. So embrace the hard part. And that's where you're going to evolve. You're going to grow and you're going to get better at interacting with people, you know, in a convention setting, which like at first you get there and you feel like a fucking deer in the headlights because there's so many people, everybody knows each other. And you're like, I feel like I don't even belong here. Yep. But trust me, the more conventions you do, the more people you will know, the more comfortable you will feel in that environment, the less weird you'll feel when you have like 20 people looking over your shoulder when you're tattooing. Like, that's why I don't get weird when I'm like being looked at, because I have tattooed with my shirt off in front of a bunch of fucking people. You know what I'm saying? And just got used to that when like, that doesn't faze me, bro. I can do this. So it's like, you have to put yourself in those positions and you will be able to grow. You got to replant yourself, you know, like you would do a little plant in your house. You want that little plant to grow? Put it in a new pot. Put in a new pot, you know, every time, and you're going to keep growing. You know?
Going back to what you were saying before about getting weirded out when people are watching tattoo. Today, when I was doing that skull, like everybody was coming around watching me tattoo. No problems, totally comfortable with that. When I was drawing it, Gabe came over and he was like, well, what was that line? I was like, oh, you're freaking out. And he was like,
I was like, oh, you messed me up. You were just hovering around me.
He saw me do like this weird line. He was waiting for something cool to happen. I was like, no, man, I fucked up because he looked over my shoulder.
I was like, hey, what happened there though? Was that intentional? And he was like, oh, no, you messed me up.
Somebody watching me doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me freak out or get like weird. But I think that comes from like street shops. Just working with a bunch of people around. You're just like, I worked in the back of a barbershop at one point. There was like people getting their hair cut and tattoo people. I'm just like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, I don't mind people watching me if I tattoo, but drawing, it freaks me out. And I think that's also definitely part of the reason why I choked on the show. I didn't want
people.
Someone was constantly always around. I'm like,
I blocked those cameras out by like day 3. I was like, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all.
Oh, that's just Johnson behind there. I'm not gonna be mad. Dude.
We like him.
Yeah, I like a lot of you guys. There's Johnson over there. The quicker that you can get, like when you're being recorded, forget that there's a camera there. Forget there are millions of people that are gonna watch this. Just think that the guy holding the camera, just that one guy.
With knee pads on.
Yeah. It's just the one guy.
I was like looking up. I'm like, I don't know if there's like a camera over us.
I actually wanted to ask you guys, how are you mic'd up?
Underneath our shirts.
Yeah.
We have like a band that wraps around our stomach and the mic comes up and clicks to the underneath of our shirts.
When you dress slutty, it's so hard.
Yeah, they figure it out, man. They figure it out.
How do you get it? Yeah, how do you get it close to like your head? You know, like
I was
it's not even close to your face, and to some people they put them in their hair.
What?
Bobby used to do that a lot. His hat.
Yeah.
I feel like I was a little bit more chaotic because I had all my jewelry on. So every day they would have to glue my jewelry down in the same spot. And you got to remember, it takes 3-4 days to film one episode. So you have to wear the same clothes for 3 days.
There's a lot left of this conversation, but I'm going to end this episode right here. If you want to hear the rest of what we have to say, head over to patreon.com/honesttattooer. Sign up to be a Patreon supporter. All levels get the after show and any other exclusive content that we have to offer. Big thanks to everyone who supports over there. Big thank you for watching this episode also. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys.